Welcome to Story Narrations. Today we embark on a captivating journey through our new series titled My Revenge on My Cheating Ex-Girlfriend. This tale unfolds the life of a man who, after being heartbroken by betrayal, finds his path to personal success and happiness. Join us as we explore themes of love, redemption, and resilience across 50 stirring chapters. Each episode promises to stir a range of emotions, from the depths of despair to the peaks of joy. So sit back, relax, and prepare to be immersed in a story of transformation and triumph. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell to stay updated with each chapter of this enthralling story. Let the journey begin. The guilt weighed heavy on my shoulders like a burden too heavy to bear as I navigated the complexities of my double life. By day, I was the devoted husband and doting father, a pillar of strength and stability for my family. But by night, I was consumed by the forbidden passion that burned between Samantha and me, a flame that threatened to engulf everything in its path. Each encounter with Samantha left me feeling more conflicted than the last, torn between the love I felt for Kate and the irresistible pull of desire that drew me to Samantha, like a moth to a flame. I tried to convince myself that I could compartmentalize my feelings, to keep my two worlds separate and distinct. But the truth was far more complicated than I cared to admit. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, the weight of my guilt grew heavier with each passing moment. I found myself withdrawing from Kate and Kali, unable to look them in the eye without feeling a pang of remorse gnawing at the edges of my conscience. Kate noticed the change in me. Of course she did. She was perceptive like that, attuned to the slightest shifts in my mood and demeanor. But try as she might to coax the truth out of me, I remained tight-lipped, unwilling to betray the trust she had placed in me. "It's nothing, Kate," I would say, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach my eyes. "Just stress from work, that's all." But she knew better than to believe me. Kate was no fool, and she could see right through the facade I had erected around myself. Still, she respected my privacy, giving me the space I needed to work through whatever demons plagued me. But the demons refused to be silenced. They whispered in the darkness, taunting me with their relentless accusations and insidious lies. How could I betray the woman who had given me everything, who had stood by my side through thick and thin? How could I live with myself, knowing the pain and suffering I had caused? And yet, even as the guilt threatened to consume me whole, I couldn't bring myself to end things with Samantha. The pull of desire was too strong, too intoxicating to resist. I was like a moth to a flame, drawn inexorably closer with each passing moment, heedless of the consequences that awaited me on the other side. But deep down, I knew that I couldn't continue down this path forever. Sooner or later, the truth would come to light, and when it did, the fallout would be catastrophic. I would lose everything: my marriage, my family, my reputation, all for the fleeting ecstasy of a love that was never meant to be. As the days turned into weeks and the weeks turned into months, I found myself consumed by a sense of despair, unlike anything I had ever experienced before. I felt like a man adrift in a sea of uncertainty, unable to find solid ground beneath my feet. But amidst the despair, there was a glimmer of hope, a tiny spark of light in the darkness that threatened to consume me whole. It was the realization that I still had a choice, that I could still turn back from the precipice before it was too late. With newfound determination, I resolved to end things with Samantha once and for all. I knew it wouldn't be easy, that the path ahead would be fraught with obstacles and challenges. But for the sake of my marriage, my family, and my own sanity, it was a risk I was willing to take. And so, with a heavy heart and a soul weighed down by guilt, I prepared to confront the woman who had become my undoing, knowing that the road ahead would be long and treacherous. But with Kate and Kaylee by my side, I knew that I had the strength to face whatever challenges lay ahead and emerge stronger on the other side. The weight of my guilt bore down on me like a crushing weight as I approached Samantha's apartment building, my heart hammering in my chest like a drumbeat of impending doom. With each step I took, the magnitude of what I was about to do loomed larger in my mind, threatening to overwhelm me with its enormity. I had rehearsed the conversation 100 times in my head, each iteration ending in tears and recriminations. But no amount of preparation could have prepared me for the reality of facing Samantha and confessing the truth of our illicit affair. As I climbed the steps to her apartment, my mind raced with a million thoughts and fears, each one more terrifying than the last. What if she refused to listen? What if she lashed out in anger and resentment? What if she told Kate everything, shattering the fragile illusion of normalcy I had worked so hard to maintain? But amidst the chaos of my swirling emotions, there was a sense of clarity, a determination to face the consequences of my actions head-on, no matter how painful they might be. With a trembling hand, I reached out and pressed the buzzer, the sound echoing through the empty hallway like a death knell. For a moment, there was silence broken only by the pounding of my heart in my chest. And then, the door swung open, revealing Samantha standing on the other side, her eyes wide with surprise and confusion. "John," she exclaimed, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "What are you doing here?" I took a deep breath, steeling myself for the conversation that was about to take place. "We need to talk, Samantha," I said softly, my voice barely more than a whisper in the stillness of the hallway. She hesitated for a moment, her eyes darting nervously around the empty hallway as if searching for an escape route. But then, with a resigned sigh, she stepped aside and gestured for me to enter. We sat in silence for what felt like an eternity, the tension thick in the air between us like a tangible presence. I could feel Samantha's eyes boring into me, searching for answers in the depths of my soul. Finally, unable to bear the silence any longer, I spoke. "Samantha, there's something I need to tell you," I began, my voice trembling with emotion. I can't do this anymore. What we're doing, it's not right. It's not fair to Kate, or to Kalia, or to either of us." Samantha's eyes widened in shock, her mouth falling open in disbelief. "What are you saying, John?" she whispered, her voice barely audible above the pounding of my heart. I took a deep breath, gathering my thoughts before continuing. "I'm saying that it's over, Samantha," I said firmly, meeting her gaze head-on. "Whatever this is between us, it has to end. I can't keep living like this, sneaking around behind Kate's back, betraying her trust. It's tearing me apart, and I can't do it anymore." Samantha's face crumpled with emotion, tears glistening in her eyes as she reached out to touch my hand. "John, please," she begged, her voice choked with tears. "I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but I love you. I've always loved you, and I can't bear the thought of losing you again." Her words struck a chord deep within me, awakening a wellspring of emotions I had long suppressed. Despite everything, despite the pain and betrayal, a part of me still loved Samantha, a part of me that refused to be silenced. But then, I remembered Kate, the woman who had stood by my side through thick and thin, the woman who had given me everything. I couldn't betray her trust, not again. Not for the fleeting promise of a love that had long since burned out. With a heavy heart, I pulled away from Samantha's touch, shaking my head in resignation. "I'm sorry, Samantha," I whispered, my voice barely more than a breath. "But it's over. For both of our sakes, it has to be." And with those words hanging in the air between us like a heavy shroud, I turned and walked away, leaving Samantha standing alone in the empty hallway, tears streaming down her cheeks as she watched me go. As I stepped out into the cool night air, a sense of relief washed over me like a cleansing wave. lifting the weight of guilt from my shoulders and filling me with a newfound sense of clarity and purpose. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but I knew that with Kate and Kaylee by my side, I could face whatever challenges lay ahead and emerge stronger on the other side. The air felt heavy with tension as I returned home, the weight of the conversation with Samantha still lingering like a dark cloud over my head. But amidst the turmoil of my emotions, there was a sense of relief, a lightness that lifted my spirits and filled me with a newfound sense of hope. Kate was waiting for me when I arrived, her eyes searching mine for answers as I entered the room. "Is everything okay?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. I hesitated, unsure of how much to reveal. The last thing I wanted was to burden Kate with the weight of my troubles, to drag her down into the depths of my despair. But then I remembered the promise I had made to be honest and open with her, no matter how difficult it might be. "I talked to Samantha," I said softly, my voice barely more than a whisper in the stillness of the room. "I told her that it's over, that whatever was between us, it has to end." Kate's eyes widened in surprise, her mouth falling open in disbelief. "You did?" she exclaimed, her voice tinged with a mixture of shock and relief. I nodded, meeting her gaze head-on. "I did," I confirmed, my voice steady despite the turmoil raging within me. "I couldn't keep living a lie, Kate. I couldn't keep betraying your trust, not after everything you've done for me." Tears welled in Katie's eyes as she reached out to touch my face, her fingers trembling with emotion. "Oh, John," she whispered, her voice choked with tears. "I'm so sorry for everything you've had to go through because of me." I shook my head, taking her hand in mine and squeezing it gently. "It's not your fault, Kate," I assured her, my voice firm with conviction. "None of this is your fault. I made choices, bad choices, and I have to live with the consequences." For a moment, we sat there in silence, the weight of our shared pain and sorrow hanging heavy in the air between us. But then, as if by silent agreement, we both reached out to each other, seeking solace and comfort in the warmth of each other's embrace. And in that moment, I knew that we would be okay. We had weathered the storm together, stronger and more resilient than ever before. The road ahead would be long and difficult, but with Kate and Kaylee by my side, I knew that we could face whatever challenges lay ahead and emerge stronger on the other side. In the days that followed, Kate and I worked tirelessly to rebuild the trust that had been shattered by my betrayal. We talked and laughed like old times, rediscovering the bond that had brought us together all those years ago. But beneath the surface, there was a sense of unease, a lingering doubt that refused to be banished. I knew that it would take time for Kate to fully forgive me, if she ever did. And even then, the scars of my infidelity would always linger, a constant reminder of the pain and suffering I had caused. But despite the challenges that lay ahead, I was determined to make things right, to prove to Kate that I was worthy of her love and forgiveness. I owed her that much and more. And so, with a renewed sense of purpose and determination, I set out to rebuild the life that I had nearly destroyed, a life filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a brighter tomorrow. And with Kate and Kaylee by my side, I knew that anything was possible. The days turned into weeks, and the weeks turned into months as Kate and I worked tirelessly to rebuild the trust and intimacy that had been fractured by my betrayal. Each day brought new challenges and obstacles, but with each hurdle we overcame, our bond grew stronger and more resilient. We spent our evenings curled up on the couch watching movies and sharing stories about our day. We went for long walks in the park, hand in hand, lost in conversation as we reveled in the simple pleasure of each other's company. But amidst the joy and laughter, there were moments of doubt and uncertainty, moments when the specter of my infidelity loomed large in the shadows, threatening to tear us apart once again. I could see the pain and hurt in Kate's eyes, the lingering scars of my betrayal etched into her soul like a tattoo that refused to fade. And try as I might to make amends, to prove my love and devotion to her, I knew that some wounds would never fully heal. But despite the challenges that lay ahead, there was a sense of hope, a glimmer of light in the darkness that threatened to engulf us both. We had weathered the storm together and emerged stronger and more resilient than ever before. And then, one fateful day, everything changed. It was a warm spring afternoon, the sun high in the sky as we set out for a picnic in the park. Kaylee skipped ahead of us, her laughter echoing through the air like music as she chased after butterflies and explored every nook and cranny of the sprawling green expanse. As we settled down on a blanket beneath the shade of a towering oak tree, I felt a sense of peace wash over me like a gentle breeze. For the first time in what felt like an eternity, everything felt right in the world. But then, as I reached into the picnic basket to retrieve the sandwiches Kate had packed, my hand brushed against something unexpected, a small velvet box nestled among the food and drinks. My heart skipped a beat as I realized what it was, the blood rushing in my ears like a roaring waterfall. Could it be? Was Kate planning what I thought she was planning? I glanced up at her, my heart pounding in my chest as I met her gaze. She smiled back at me, a twinkle of mischief in her eyes as she nodded toward the box. "Go on," she urged, her voice barely more than a whisper. "Open it." With trembling hands, I lifted the lid of the box, revealing a sparkling diamond ring nestled within its velvet confines. My breath caught in my throat as I gazed upon the ring, the sheer magnitude of the moment threatening to overwhelm me. "John," Kate said softly, reaching out to touch my face with a hand that trembled with emotion. "I know we've been through a lot together, more than most couples ever have to endure. But through it all, you've been my rock, my constant source of strength and support, and I can't imagine spending the rest of my life with anyone else." Tears welled in my eyes as I listened to her words, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude. This was it, the moment I had been waiting for, the chance to start anew, to put the pain and heartache of the past behind us and embrace the promise of a brighter tomorrow. "Kate," I whispered, my voice choked with emotion, "I love you more than words can say, and I promise to spend the rest of my life making you happy, to cherish and honor you for as long as I live." And with those words hanging in the air between us like a sacred vow, I took the ring from the box and slipped it onto Kate's finger, sealing our love and commitment to each other for all eternity. As we embraced beneath the shade of the oak tree, the world around us faded into insignificance, leaving only the two of us lost in the timeless embrace of our love. And in that moment, I knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, as long as we were together, we could weather any storm and emerge stronger on the other side. For Kate and I, this was not just the end of one chapter, but the beginning of a new one, a chapter filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a lifetime of happiness together. And as we walked hand in hand into the sunset, I knew that our best days were still yet to come. The weeks flew by in a blur of excitement and anticipation as Kate and I busied ourselves with the preparations for our wedding. Every spare moment was spent poring over guest lists, choosing flowers and sampling cakes, the thrill of our impending nuptials infusing every aspect of our lives with a sense of joy and excitement. It was a whirlwind of activity, with Kate and I working tirelessly to ensure that every detail was perfect. From the venue to the decorations to the music, we spared no expense in creating the wedding of our dreams. A celebration of our love and commitment to each other that would be remembered for years to come. As the big day drew closer, the excitement reached a fever pitch, with friends and family descending upon our home to offer their congratulations and support. There were bridal showers and bachelor parties, rehearsal dinners and dress fittings, each moment a precious memory to be cherished for a lifetime. But amidst the chaos of wedding planning, there were moments of quiet reflection. Moments when Kate and I stole away from the hustle and bustle of our busy lives to savor the sweetness of our love. We would sit together on the couch, hand in hand, lost in conversation as we talked about our hopes and dreams for the future. We would take long walks in the park, enjoying the simple pleasure of each other's company as we marveled at the beauty of the world around us. And as the days turned into hours and the hours turned into minutes, there was a sense of peace that settled over us like a warm blanket, soothing our frayed nerves and calming our restless hearts. And then, finally, the day arrived. The day we had been dreaming of since the moment we first met. It was a warm summer afternoon, with clear blue skies and a gentle breeze that whispered through the trees like a lover's caress. As I stood at the altar, waiting for Kate to make her grand entrance, my heart pounded in my chest with a mixture of excitement and nervousness. This was it, the moment I had been waiting for, the moment when I would pledge my love and devotion to the woman of my dreams in front of all our friends and family. And then, suddenly, she was there, walking down the aisle on the arm of her father, her eyes sparkling with happiness as she gazed upon me. She was radiant, her beauty shining like a beacon of hope in the sea of faces that surrounded us. As she reached the altar, her father placed her hand in mine, a silent gesture of trust and blessing. I squeezed her hand tightly, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude as I looked into her eyes. "Kate," I whispered, my voice trembling with emotion. "I love you more than words can say. From the moment I first laid eyes on you, I knew that you were the one for me, the one I had been searching for my entire life. And today, as we stand here before our friends and family, I vow to cherish and honor you for all eternity. I promise to be there for you in times of joy and sorrow, to support you and encourage you in all your endeavors. I promise to love you, cherish you, and respect you for as long as I live." Tears welled in Kate's eyes as she listened to my words, her own voice trembling with emotion as she spoke. "John," she whispered, her voice barely more than a breath, "I love you more than words can say. You are my rock, my anchor, my everything. And today, as we stand here before our friends and family, I vow to love and cherish you for all eternity. I promise to stand by your side in times of joy and sorrow, to support you and encourage you in all your endeavors. I promise to love you, cherish you, and respect you for as long as I live." And with those words hanging in the air between us like a sacred vow, we exchanged rings and sealed our love and commitment to each other with a kiss that seemed to transcend time and space. As we walked hand in hand down the aisle, the sound of wedding bells ringing in our ears, I knew that our journey was just beginning. Together, Kate and I would face whatever challenges lay ahead, secure in the knowledge that as long as we had each other, we could weather any storm and emerge stronger on the other side. For us, this was not just the end of one chapter, but the beginning of a new one. A chapter filled with love, laughter, and the promise of a lifetime of happiness together. And as we danced beneath the stars, lost in each other's arms, I knew that our best days were still yet to come. Stay tuned for part 3. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to ensure you don't miss out on the thrilling continuation.